Hello everyone, how are you all? And welcome to the third day of our Python bootcamp. Okay. Hello everyone, how are you all? And welcome to the third day of our Python bootcamp. Just hold on one sec. Yeah, I could see people still joining in. Um, we would not wait for them. I will do one thing. Let people join in. We will start from where we left off yesterday. A few of you had some, um, I would not say confusion, but I just thought that might be that 5% clarity you needed in pass and continue. So what I did, I think it was Praveen who asked yesterday, sir, we are getting same output. So what I did, I just changed the example and let's have a look at it. We'll look at pass and continue yet again. All right. So look at this code. The first one, pass. By now you know how for loop is written. If you don't mention this zero, just one more point to tell here. If you don't mention the zero, by default it will start with zero. If you mention just 11, it will take 10 digits. So if I run this, look what happens. Taking a just bit of time. Look at this. It starts from 0 by default and all the way to 10. Now you could see all the numbers till 10 are being shown in the output. However, when you do a continue, what I said, wherever there is a match, wherever this condition satisfies, what it will do is it will skip that 5 and it will skip that particular iteration which prints 5. All right, so the iteration with 5 is skipped and you don't see 5 over here. So what's the point in writing pass? Because we have written pass because we want something to write. If you notice, this print is outside if. This print is not inside if. It is not in the place of pass. If you comment pass over here, okay, you will get an error. Because you need something in this, and to avoid this kind of things, when you're not sure what to write in if statement, you will have to mention pass. All right, so later on when you know what to mention and when you're sure about the code what to write, then you can write it as write that code and remove this pass. So that's the only thing that I thought we should revisit again, so that you are clear with the, because yesterday it happened so that we took an example where you got the similar outputs. So there was a little bit of illusion that what's happening. All right, so now as we are clear, let's start with today's topics, and today's topic is function. Yes, Praveen, if we add else, the problem is if we add else there, I will show it to you. If we add else here, then the problem is it, what will happen, if condition is satisfied, it doesn't go there to the else part, and that's why you get the same result. So you can always try. We already saw that, but for your what I can say clarity, I just thought might be that that's the reason I said yesterday that I thought you are looking for something else, and I was in a mindset to go for new example. However, we are wrapping up things yesterday. So I hope this is clear now, and we will move on to our today's topic, that is functions. All right, we will cover functions. We will cover scope of variables in functions. We will see different types of arguments, and we will see modules as well, and what they do, how are they useful. So what is a function in Python? I would say you have already used function. Now you would say how? Because see, function is what exactly? It's a block of statement that will return specific task. Now we have used print n number of times here in our last 2 days session. Okay, then we have used a type function. All right, so something with the name and the parenthesis, that is nothing but called as a function in Python. So print function. Just tell me one thing: did you write code for print? Code is already written, right? I mean to say the functionality of print. What does print do? Whatever you mention in the print statement in the double quotes, it gets printed in the output, right? So did you write that code how to display it in the output? You just use that function, right? So that's what the key with the key factor with the function. that you can use the same code again and again. We don't keep on writing code for print. We don't keep on writing code for type function. We just make use of it. All right. So look at the definition. We can do function calls to reuse. How to call a function? We will see it all over again. How to define a function? This is a syntax. You use def keyword, then a function name, whichever function name you want to use. Then there will come parameters inside whatever you want to write that function, and then a return expression. We will see writing our first function. However, what I'm saying, functions are divided into two types, that is built-in and user-defined. So built-in is something that we are using from day one, print function type, then what min, max, whatever. These are all built-in. They are already made. You don't need to write it again. However, you might feel that you want some another definition of addition or something, then you write a function of your own. Absolutely no problem. Whatever the way you want, you will be able to write it. Now let's see our first function. I have written some code today beforehand to save us time, but we'll execute, we'll see, we'll make changes, we will see what is the what happens when particular thing is executed. Just let me have a look at your questions if you have any. Sarvanan, your question will be answered by our team. Yes, Emmanuel, print is an inbuilt function. Okay, so let's start with our first user-defined function. Any name you take, absolutely no problem. That is why it's user-defined. What is this function doing? I have defined my function and then a parenthesis. I've just followed this syntax, def keyword, function name, and a parenthesis. Parameters are optional, all right. Return statement is also optional. If you look at print function, print doesn't return you anything. It just displays the message on the output screen. So it happens, right? A particular function may not return. Now in this also, this function is also just printing. It is not returning some value to it. Do you remember our match functions? You give some value, some processing will be done by that function, and you will get some output. Like you remember those terminologies, f of x. You give x, suppose your f of x is performing x square, it will give you the output of x square. Like if you put the value of x as 2, it will return you 4. But what was f of x? It did x square. All right. So like that, same way it is in match. You give some input, the processing will be done by the function, and you get some output. However, there will be exceptions where no such thing is needed to return anything. It's just for printing. So our first function is this one. We define a function by this. All right. Then this is whatever you write something in a function is called a function body, and then you call a function. How do you call a function? Just by name. Look at this. I've written just my function and parentheses. That's it. This is how you call a function. And when you do this and actually run it, what you will get? You'll get that message displayed. You might as well say, sir, this happens with print. Why do you want to use functions at all? Yes, you want to use functions because you want to use them repeatedly. See, print has been written by someone. You can use it in your Python code. I can use it in my Python code, and I don't need to write it separately. That's the beauty. We will write our own functions. We will use it separately in a different, we will use it from different places. I will show it to you, and at the end of this session, you will come to know better why did we use it. All right, why are we at all using functions? Now, what is a parameter? So whatever you pass here during at this point we haven't passed. Let's jump into our second example where you have passed some variable. While definition of a function, if you pass something, it is called as a parameter. All right. So parameter, just one sec. Yeah. So parameter is nothing but a variable that you pass at the time of definition of a function. Okay. We have done this code of checking for even and odd number. So I have created a function even odd. I passed some parameter. Ultimately, I have to check with some number, right? So my input is what? Input is a number, and that number I am giving as an input with the help of this variable called as num. And then in that function, inside it, I am checking with our code that we saw while doing if else yesterday. Same code, but this time I'm putting it in the function. All right. And after writing my function, I'm calling the function even odd and passing whatever the value I want to check. If you want to take user input, you may separately define it like some variable here n is equal to input and int user input and something, and that n you may call over here. That is not an issue. What we I am saying, you pass some value 5 and it will tell you it is even or it is not even, whatever it is, even or odd. What has happened here, this function, when you wrote this statement, the execution went over here. Okay, it saw it has to pass that number, num was assigned to 5, only 1 was there, and then what happened, this code was executed and the output was returned. You look at this return statements. What is return statement? It returns some value for you. This was also optional. However, we have given some output. We need to get some. Sorry, we have given some input. We need to get some output out of that. That's the reason we wrote return even if it is completely divisible by 0, and else return odd. And that's why you get it. Now notice one thing. Whenever the execution happens, you have written this function. All right. When Python starts running this code, it is going to see def keyword here. All right. As soon as it sees def, it is not going to do anything with it. Not going to do anything in the sense, it is not going to execute all these statements. It will not even see it. The reason is it's a function, and until and unless you call a function, it is of no use. Means until and print is there in Python, print function is there in Python, but until and unless we use it, we are not going to call its code or execute its code, right? Which is there inside. Similarly, this will be like a passive code. It does nothing. Only when you write this statement, you call that, all these lines will get executed. So how will the execution start? It will come here, it will check for def. It doesn't go inside because it knows it's a function. Then the focus shifts over here at even odd, and now it comes to know, okay, it's calling that particular function. So this line will get executed first, then it will come here, and then the entire code. Did you understand, everyone, definition of function? Emmanuel, the reason I used what you said, return, is because I'm passing some input to the function. I want to get it back. If I print, how will I get a function? As if that function has accepted some variable, it has to return. You may see the above, the first example that I gave. At that time, I did not return anything because I did not accept anything. I did not do any calculation on it. All right. Suppose you are asked for addition of two numbers. What you will do? You will take two numbers here. You will pass it, right? What's the meaning in just printing it? When you pass some input, you'll have to get that input out. So for getting that in a value outside or the function and displaying it as a result, we need to use return statement. Do you understand? Okay, Harsh, what I was saying, I may not be able to repeat the entire thing, but what I'm saying, print function returns nothing. Okay, it is just a function to display something because it takes nothing as a input. All right, and that was the first user-defined function that we took. Def is the keyword that we use, and then the function name. All right, in the second, what we did is we named our function even odd, and we passed some parameter. Why did we need? What you will check? You are going to check a number, right? So to refer to that number, you need something to check. So how will you pass that number? Through a variable. You write anything. You write num. You write a, b, c, whatever you want, and then the code that will be in the function body. What I'm saying, you are passing some number and you want to check. This code will check if it is even or not. If it is even, it will return a string called as even. If it is odd, it will return a string called as odd. That's it. That's it. All right, Harsh. I hope you are able to get it. Now, what are the types of arguments? First of all, let's see what is an argument. We saw parameter, we saw what is return type. Okay, what is an argument? Argument is this 5. In this example, argument is this 5. So when you define a function, you give a variable here that is called as parameter. When you pass some value to that variable, all right, it is called as argument. And we have 4 types of arguments, that is default argument, keyword argument, positional argument, and arbitrary argument. Okay, let's see one by one what are those. Yeah. So let's move ahead. I was just looking at if someone has any questions. Yeah. So let's move ahead with the arguments. These are just the basic things that we are covering regarding functions. Now, could you see this? At the time of definition, I have defined one function named as power, and at the time of definition, we are giving some values. So the arguments are passed at the time of definition, and we are returning what? A asterisk asterisk b. This is nothing but a raised to b. 2 raised to 2, 4, 3 raised to 2, 9. That ways. A raised to b. Alright. And suppose if I don't mention anything here, now ideally I should be giving value of a and b to calculate, right? However, I just mention one value and I don't give anything for b. Let's see what happens. See, I get the result 2 and I don't get any error. Ideally, I should be providing value of a as well as b. However, I don't get any error. The reason is if no value is provided, what is default? If nothing is provided, you go by the default one. Means you can say that is a minimum one or whatever you have defined. All right. That is the minimum thing you get with any what I can say how you get inbuilt value. Okay, so for the inbuilt value of function we have said 1. If no one gives you any value, you just mention 1. So 2 was given, a got assigned to 2. All right, this value got overridden, but b nothing was given, so 1 was taken. If I even don't give this, then what will happen? Just take it here, it's no big deal. See, it turned out to be 1 because there was no value given for a, there was no value given for b, so 1 raised to 1 is again 1. Did you understand? Yes, Harsh, you are right. A is equal to 2, B is equal to 1 in my previous example. Now that I have removed everything, it will be 1 for A and 1 for B as well. The default value. So 1 raised to 1 is nothing but what? It is 1. That's the reason we get an output 1. Alright. Let's move on to the next argument. This was what? Default arguments. Now let's come to keyword argument. Sorry, a positional argument. So what are positional arguments? Positional arguments, what they will do, again same function I am calling. Look at this carefully. 2 comma 3, when I give 2 comma 3, Python is smart enough to assign 2 to A and 3 to B. Did you mention anywhere here that A is equal to 2 or a B is equal to 3? No, right? You just wrote the values and according to the position. Now A here is at first position and 2 here is at first position. That's the reason A got assigned to 2 and then B got assigned to 3. And then you will get the output 2 raised to 3 is equal to 8. Did you get it? Did you get it? What is the position of A? That is first position, and what is the position of B? Second. It got accordingly assigned according to the what? To positions. Okay, moving on to the next argument, next type of argument, that is keyword argument. Okay, so what is a keyword argument? Keyword argument is something that will override your positional arguments. Why I say such things? Because instead of positions deciding to assign value, you are explicitly assigning a value. Could you see this? You wrote B previously, B you ignored the position and you wrote it at the start. At the first position you mentioned B is equal to 3, and then you mention A is equal to 2. All right, if at all it has to go with the position, it should be 3 raised to 2, right? Because B is at the first position. However, what is happening here in keyword, you have assigned B's value to 3. So the function when when you give a call, it's what is there in its definition. B is afterwards, right? So B will be assigned 3. So this 3 value will be assigned first and then this 2. However, in the function, the position will not change and you will get the output again as 2 raised to 3. That is due to this order. All right. So keyword, what it will do, even if you write B is equal to 3 at first position, it is not going to consider that position. It will supersede it and you will still get the output 2 raised to 3, that is 8. Okay. Yeah. So Harsh and everyone else following. Let's move on to the next type of argument, that is arbitrary argument. Here it is important to note that every time we saw first 3 functions, right? So every time will it be that only 2-3 variables and we are done? We are doing coding here. It will not be always addition of 2 numbers, a multiplication of 2 numbers. it could be n number of arguments, all right, or n number of parameters that you will have to take. Then what you will do in that case? So what I'm saying, you will use this symbol asterisk in our parameters before your name. So args is a conventional name, though you can use any name, all right. So here what I'm saying, asterisk and args. What this asterisk indicates, it tells the function variable number of positional arguments. Means you can give any number of positional arguments here. Like see, when I called, I gave a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and what this function is doing, I have defined a function called as mul, all right, and in that I have given more. I have given this while defining as a parameter. I have given asterisk args, all right. Product is equal to 1 for I is equal to args, and product is equal to product into I return product. That's it. So what is this? This is for loop. So whatever comes over here, the loop is going to iterate that many times. Now I have passed while calling. I said right, until and until you call a function, this is just like a passive code. As soon as you come here, you specify these values. You look at this. I just entered number of values of my choice. You can enter 10, you can enter 20, whatever number of values you want to enter, you just can enter. All right. What this for loop will do, it will iterate over each and every element and will give you the product with the previous number. So this is just a code. We are not going deeper into the code. I hope you for loop is clear, then you'll be able to understand this. If not now, you understand it later. What I'm trying to explain is that it will give you a product of these numbers 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Okay, let's see if this happens successfully. See, we have a result, that is what, 120. How did we get it? Because of this asterisk, we were able to input multiple variables, multiple arguments. Okay, so variable number of positional arguments can be given. So that's it about the functions and its arguments. Any questions, guys? Shall we move forward? Please make it interactive. I need more interaction from you. Please let me know right away if you have not understood anything. Okay, thanks Chaitanya. We will move forward. Let's see what is the scope of variable. Very important topic, a theoretical concept, but yes, very interesting to understand. Okay, we will understand scope of variable, that is what is global and what is local variable. So when you use the variable, where you can use it and where you cannot use it. All right. So let's have a look at this example. We have defined this variable called as a is equal to 1. All right, and then what we are defining a function called as f, and we are printing what? We are simply printing a. Now this function will remain as it is until and unless you call. So here when I call this function, let me check what output I get. All right, so let's see the output here. Hold on. If you look at this, just focus at these two statements. See, the functions are there. What I told you earlier, functions will be there. We have defined, okay, but until and unless we call it, it is of no use, in the sense it is passive there, sitting idle there. All right. Now here, what you type? Print global A. Now, if you type print statement, what will get printed? What is there in A? In A, there is 1. Do you agree? So here 1 will get printed at the first output. Look at this. This is your first output. Then inside F, now you have called F. Let's see what is inside F. So inside F, you have you are trying to print what? Inside F and A. All right. So this message should be printed because we called that function. Till here, I hope we are clear. It's just that we are printing the value from what? By using function. So from inside the function, we have accessed the global variable and we were able to type the value of A. Now what we are doing next? Again, we are printing the value of A, and what we are doing? We are calling a function G. Okay. Now let's see what is there in function G. Look at this. A has been defined again inside G. All right. There is one A. There is one variable A which is outside outside the function. This is G, this is 1, and this is 1. So this is your global variable, and this is inside the function. That means it is your local variable. All right, local in the sense local to that function. From outside this function, no one can access it. Like if I simply try to do print A, now I my print statement will give me value of this A and not this one. Okay, I cannot simply access it without that particular function. Now when I try to when I do this, when I call G, look at this, what is happening. G has got what? Global. When you say global A, the first statement was this, it doesn't change. But when you call G, A got changed to 2. When you call G, A got changed to 2 because it has A. It has its own A. For in a layman example, I will just give you an example of a sports kit. Let's say cricket sports kit. Most of us might be aware about cricket, right? You know about bat or something. Most of you must be playing, but to the people who will say we don't watch cricket or something, I'm telling for them. So just imagine a sports kit, and you have a cricket bat. Okay, you stay in a multi-storied apartment. You can say a society. You have your own sports kit that belongs only to you. Okay, so your bat belongs only to you, and there is a one public sports kit that is with the society. So whenever the other people who don't have that bat or what stumps and all the sports kit of their own, they can well easily access. So this one is your society's kit, okay, or society's bat, this A, and this one that is inside G is your own. Okay, until and unless um, you require this, why would you use this? You have your own bat, it's pretty much the same brand. You can say name is also same, see A. So you can say you got MRF bat, they also got MRF bat. So you would prefer, you have practice on that bat, so you would prefer this, right? So that's the reason when I call G, you get the value of A as 2 here. The global A will remain the same, but when you call it with G, you get the value as 2 because inside A 2 is inside G 2 is mentioned for A. Did you understand my example for your own local variable that are in our example the property or the belongings or the things that are in your own house or in your own flat, and the global one is with the society or say the premises outside the society, the garden you can access, anyone can access. So that are what global variables, global to that society. I just gave an example as an analogy for you to understand. Please understand what we are doing. And then def, there is next thing, def of H global A. Now look at this, they have used this keyword global, all right, and they have their own A as well. Okay, and print inside H. Now what will happen, do you think? This keyword global has an impact. Okay, what it does, it modifies it modifies the sports kit or whatever the belongings that are public to the society. Now what has happened, when will this kind of situation happen? In our example, say the society members are not available. The society members, I am saying the administration office of the society members are not available, and there is some emergency. Now what is left? There is some maintenance outage or there is something going to happen, and you need the keys of that administration office to switch off that main switch or something you need to do as a precautionary measure. Otherwise, we are going to suffer a lot. Then what will happen? This is emergency, right? So the society member, they will say the key lies here somewhere, and you go and get that key and get the job done. We are not available, so you please do it. As a resident, you are there, so please take care. So what will happen? That resident will go access that key, and he opens, he does the job. All right. But what if? Now understand the implications as well. But what if that resident takes some other advantage as well? He goes there in the society office and he alters something there. Some file he takes or something he does that is not usual for a society administration office. The problem here is The problem here is, suppose he takes some decision to remove some what you can say, uh, garbage or a dustbin, or you can say some what we call it here, any example you can take. So anything that belongs to society, he makes a decision to remove it. Okay, or he blocks the access to the, mistakenly, by unknowingly, he doesn't know how to operate the keys and all, so unknowingly he does something and he closes access to the gym. All right, your gym has that door which opens digitally, and he blocks the access. Some button he presses over there unknowingly, he is also not aware, he just press that button and he blocks the access to the gym. The impact, understand the impact, very important guys. The impact is that all the other residents will not be able to access gym, and this is not something that we expected, right? So when this is not a recommended practice to change global variable from a function. Whenever such kind of thing arises, only then you change. And in our coding example, how I can explain is that, I will take your names. Suppose there is Emmanuel, Vanita, and Jagdishwar. All right, there is Emmanuel, Vanita, and Jagdishwar. Now what is happening? um, this function def is written by Jagdishwar, and this function def is written by Vanita. Both are accessing what? Both are accessing A. Jagdishwar, he is accessing global A. Now what happens? Emmanuel comes in. He is not aware what is going. He just is experimenting something with his own code. Okay, and he changes this value of global A from A is equal to 3. Now, as per Jagdishwar, A was 1. That's the reason he wrote something in this code over here. In this function, he wrote something in the code. Okay. Now the problem is, if this gets changed, don't you think whatever code, it's not about just print, okay? Whatever calculations Jagdishwar has made, assuming that A is equal to 1, will be crashed, right? That is the impact, guys. Understand, Emmanuel might not have done it knowingly or intentionally. However, sorry, Emmanuel. However, he did not know the impact. He just wanted to check something. He made changes. His code worked fine, but someone else got affected. Someone else, in the sense, that guy who clicked that button mistakenly and closed the access to the gym, and the society members are not available, say, for 4 or 5 days. That 4 or 5 days, other members cannot access the gym. That's the problem. That's the implication. And where you can make a good use of it, good use of this global variable, is that you can define a global variable, and everyone else, like Jagdishwar, as I mentioned, he can use this variable. Vanita doesn't have any problem because she has her own variable called as A. Okay, but if she decides tomorrow that I don't want to use this variable, she can very well use this, but she should know that it is not 2, it is 1. So for her calculation, she will have to add 1 in that. So this kind of implementation is not recommended. So this is the impact. I hope you have understood with our simple example. Yes, Emmanuel, local variable, if defined, is preferred. All right. Suppose this would have been B. Suppose this would have been B here. Then, and you are trying to print what? A. Then you don't have B. You don't have locally, I mean, the locally you don't have A. Sorry. Locally you don't have A, and you are trying to print A. Then it will go here. What I said, you don't have your own bat. Go and access the society's bat. What's the problem? What's the problem, right? If you have, access your own. I hope you have got it. Real life problems. If you are writing once more, what is to be explained once more? Can you tell me one section? Because the entire thing. What is Jagdishwar saying? Jagdishwar, how it came to 120? It's the product. 5 into 4 in 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Just take this product. It's 120 here. Emmanuel, it is not preferred one. Yes, it is a preferred one. However, if it is not there with you, you will have to access the global one. All right. So I hope you have understood the concept of global and local variables, guys. Yes, Emmanuel, you can use function inside a function. However, that is a topic called as nested function. So you can write a function here, and inside a function also you can write a function. However, that function whichever you write inside a function, you will have to call it from inside only, inside of the outer function. Say, for example, def f is what I have written, right? So inside this, um, if you write something, any other def z, all right. So for this function, inside function to work, you'll have to call it here, because this function, like a variable, becomes local to the outside function. So you will have to call it from, I mean, if you want to call it at all, you'll have to write this like this. Okay, so that's an example. It's not a part of curriculum. However, I've just told you to answer your question. Diane, okay, Diane says that the concept has been understood. Okay, so let's move ahead. If everyone has got it, if everyone understood the concept, let's move ahead to modules part. Now in modules, we will be looking at what is modules. So what is a module? Module is where you have a collection of variables, class, whatever you define, or a function. Class is something that you are not aware right now, but you know function, you know what is variable. So that is called a module. We have some inbuilt modules like math, and we have random as well. We have n number of inbuilt modules. However, we will have a look at what math does. All right. So I've just got this code. If you want to import any module, if you want any functionality, remember at the start I said that for mathematics we have a lot of functions. So look at this. We have pi. You don't need to define this variable. Pi is equal to 3.14 or something. You have a square root function, math.sqrt. You have logarithmic functions. You have trigonometric functions. All the things showing it, not really possible. That itself will take more than 1 hour. All right. So for sample use, I'm just showing this. Look at this value of pi. You have got it when you do math.py. So what are you doing? You are importing math module using this import keyword you use, and you are importing math module. And in that math module, there is a constant that is defined, or variable that is defined as pi, and that in that pi this value is there. So you got this value. So how you access? Math.py. If you want to access function, math.sqrt. If you access POW function, math.pow. So these are all inbuilt functions in math. And then we can directly access as well. How did we access it here? We access it by dot, right? But you can directly access. You have to just tweak the keywords. Before the module, you write a from keyword, and whatever inside that module, that is a function's sqrt or a variable, you mention after import. Okay, so what this did, we were simply directly able to write square root and pi. You don't write this, you need to write this math dot and dot sqrt or math.py. Simply you wrote pi here. Sqrt, you just passed one variable. Look at this. This is an argument I was referring to. You passed 16, it gave you the square root as 4. Did you get it? Very simple, nothing to understand. Understanding wise, it is nothing, but then it is important to show that there are some modules that are already there in Python ready made. This is why we say that Python is very easy, and huge libraries gives us freedom to write this small. So see, only one line code. We are not writing logic of square root. We are not doing anything. It is already there. You just need to know where it is. Okay, it is in maths library. That what you can say, maths module. So you need to know this much. Okay. Now, if you want to generate a random number from, say, between 0 to 0 and 0.0 and 1.0, then you can just use this random.random. Again, look at this parenthesis. This is what? This is module name. Import random. Random is a module here, and the random inside it is a function. All right. Similarly, random, again there is one string defined over here as driver, and random.choice. What it will do? It will pick any of the character from the string. Look at it. It picked T this time. If I run it again, it might even pick the same, or see, this time it picked I. So randomly it is picking anything, absolutely anything. And then there is a rand range function as well. There are lot many functions. I'm just displaying it a few so that you get an idea that there are some modules inbuilt, and we can directly use that. Now rand range. All right, rand range, what it is doing, it is asking you to, you remember for loop, right? It specifies the range and then the step size by what you need to increment it. We used to increment by default by 1, but if we want alternate numbers we can increment by 2. Here it is incremented by 3. So from 20 to 50 you increment the numbers by 3. How that numbers will be 20, 23, 26, 29, 32 and so on. Randomly it is still 50, right? So randomly it has generated what, 44. Next time it may generate some another number. Look at this, 35, as I said. So that's how. So where this will be used, you might think, in lottery system. So look at this, we have defined one function, generate lottery numbers, and then we use the function that is invite sample. In that sample you give a range from 1 to 50 and you say how many lottery numbers you want to pick it, 6, right? If you need 6 lottery numbers, it will generate that many lottery numbers. What you have done, you have called a function. First you defined the function, then what you have done, you have called a, sir, then you may ask, sir, we are defining function, then why do you need this? I need this because I will be using in my defined function, I will be using this sample function that is there in random module. All right, so from random module I'll use that function and make my own function as I want, as per my customizations. That is the range that I have put 1, 50, and it will generate me a number. Now which is the line that calls this function? This one. Look at this. So whatever is been generated, the numbers that will get generated, you are storing it in the variable lottery numbers. Got it? So this generate lottery numbers will call this function, generate 6 numbers, then that 6 numbers will get stored in this lottery numbers with the help of this variable, and you are printing the lottery number. That is what, every time you will get different numbers, as it's a random number. Lottery में कभी same numbers आता है क्या? It will be different. अथर्व, इट इज नॉट लाइक कितने फंक्शंस होते हैं, ठीक है? फंक्शंस आप कौन से मॉड्यूल में देख रहे हैं डिपेंड्स ऑन दैट. ओके, रैंडम नंबर में अलग नंबर ऑफ रैंडम मॉड्यूल में अलग नंबर ऑफ फंक्शंस रहेंगे, मैथ में अलग नंबर ऑफ फंक्शंस रहेंगे. मैथ मॉड्यूल में ओवरऑल आपके जो इनबिल्ट है, जैसे प्रिंट हुआ, टाइप हुआ, मीन हुआ, मैक्स हुआ, वो अलग है. एन नंबर ऑफ फंक्शंस आर देयर. कितने नंबर ऐसा काउंट नहीं है, क्योंकि जैसे मैंने बोला कि पैकेजेस डिफरेंट है, उन पैकेजेस के अंदर पब्लिक बनाते जा रही है. इवन इट इज इंक्रीजिंग इवन मोर. सो वॉट एवर फंक्शंस are there available, you can use it. Okay, and you don't need to mug these things up. Okay, if you write functions in Python, you will get the list of that functions, and whenever here I write something, some print or something, then it will ask me for parameters. I don't know whether it asks me something here. Let me check. Look at this. This is due to Google Colab. Okay, you will not get in Notepad, otherwise you will type this in Notepad and will search. It asks what this print takes. It takes string or what, all these things will be mentioned over here. So these tools IDs, you will be able to know. It's not that I have practiced a lot and I know it takes only numbers. You can very well check. Then there is a help function. You can put a function, existing function inside help. You just put print. Entire description will come, what all things that function will accept as a parameters. All right, so that's it, guys. That's it for on the part of what, modules. Now let's jump in and see how modules and function will work together, and you will be able to form a structured project. Okay, we are not building a project, but then we will see a small glimpse of it, how code is organized using modules. Okay, so what we will do, for simplicity, I have taken I will take an example of calculator and I will show it to you. So let's jump on to our machine desktop. Okay, let me just, yeah. So see, I am here. I have created one folder. Okay, sample module. Could you see this, everyone? I don't know if you are able to view this. Could you see this folder, sample module? Yeah. So sample module. This is one folder. I have just named it as sample module. Okay. Now we will, what I'm saying, we saw what is inbuilt module, what we saw, math and random module. Now what I'm saying, as we define functions of our own, we will define modules as our own, of our own. Come on, let's write first module, that is what, add. Okay, now this is the module that I have written from idle and I saved it as a py. In that module, what is there? What I said, module will have variables, module will have classes, module will have functions. For simplicity, we will just write our own add function. Okay, def add a comma b, all right, and what we are returning addition. Okay, this is one module I have written on of myself. The file is saved as add.py. One thing done, all right. Next one, I have written a module called as mul. Look at this mul. I will open this for you. Instead of addition, I just used asterisk. This will give me what? Multiplication. And so on. You can develop n number of modules. Okay. You are placing this where? In one folder. And then there is your one file, one main file called as calculator. From there, you will call these functions. Just focus. While showing the functions, I showed it there and then in there itself. Now here I am showing in one function, in one file there is code of addition, in another file there is code of multiplication, and now you want to write a code of calculator. So what you need to do, you need to tell that file, you need to, from that calculator file, you need to give input, right, and you need to tell where that file is. So look at this, whatever we have learned, I am just utilizing it. Okay, what I have wrote here from no, not this one. I think I opened a different one. Yeah, this one. Look at this. What I'm doing, from add. From add means what? I'm in the same folder, so my file will be able to locate this add file. From add file means from this file, import function add. My function name is also add. Do you agree? Look at this. My function name is add. My file name is add. That's what I have done. My function name is add. My file name is add, and I'm passing two parameters, 2 and 3. So whatever I'm passing, I'm storing in addition and then printing. Similarly, same thing I'm doing it for multiplication. You may go on and write subtraction, whatever, division, whatever you want. You just go and write. Let's see. We will run this code. Which file we will run? See, these are modules 1 and 2. These are modules. This is our main file, right? So we will run this file called as calculator. And today, with that, we will also see how to run it from command prompt. To explain this structure, I came on down to machine because it is not feasible to explain it on Colab. All right. So first you need to locate that file, where that file calculator is. So I just need to copy this path. Just take this path, Control C, write CD space that path. All right, and enter. Now you are in that folder. Now when you are in that folder, there is a command python.filename.py. What is the file name of our file? Calculator. Simply calculator. Okay, so I go over there in the command prompt and I run this calculator.py. Did you see what happened? Did you see what happened? When I executed this file, even you know that calculator, in this file we don't have the code of what? Addition. Do you see the code of multiplication? Do you see? You just called the functions that are already there. Did you see the advantage? Now if say Atharva writes this code, next is Neetu or Diane for that matter writes this code, write some another code, and because they know that Atharva has written addition and multiplication, and Neetu and Diane are from his team, and they are also developing similar kind of calculator, they may well just access this add functions and multiple functions. They don't need to write the code again. This is the power of functions, and this is why we say that functions, instead of writing code again and again, you can write the code and it becomes modular. So if there is any problem, say there is any mistake, or the code that Atharva has written for add function gives you some different results that is not expected, Atharva or you might have to just edit that one function or that one module. It doesn't affect your entire working of code. All other things are working absolutely correctly. In case any big issues, you can also delete that code. You can write it from all over again. You don't need to write the entire thing again. Now did you understand what we are achieving with functions? This is the power. It's not about just writing code for each and everything. Okay, you will go on writing and writing. Yesterday, you remember, we studied if else, we studied while. All right, don't you think that when we took that locker and lock example, it can be achieved by if loop? Multiple conditions, right? I will write 50 lines of code. I said 50 number of set of keys, so 50 lines of code, if else, if else, if else, if else. But do you imagine, I'm talking about 50, if that is a locker with a 4-digit or a 5-digit lock, are you going to write 1 lakh line of codes? Not possible, really. So that's the reason you need to be efficient. What you need to understand what you are doing. Okay, it's not just about writing same thing over and over again. Write it once, let everyone use it. Okay, and that's how you develop a project. Okay, so now this is what this I have just shown, that okay, you can write a code and you can store it in one folder. All three files you can store. However, it may happen, in our case it may happen that someone comes in mistakenly and deletes this file calculator. It is now just three files, it is clearly visible to your eye. Say there are 100 files and your main file is deleted, what do? You will not be able to understand. So for that you need a proper hierarchy. Okay, so what I will do, my main file, from where the calculator file, from where I'm calling all the functions and the modules that I have defined on my own, I will keep that in separate. And actual files, that is that define addition, that I will keep in separate folder. So what I have done here, just have a look at this. In calculator pack, forget about this, this is something that gets generated, that's not a part of discussion. Okay, so what I have done, I have made a separate folder as calculator pack. I have outside folder package. See here, this is the package folder, and then I have made a separate folder calculator pack. All right, and inside that, outside I have only one file. So you are well aware that this is my structure. So whatever that one file from where you run all the functionality of your code of a calculator that you have created, what will happen? You will just run this file. So if this file is not here, you know that somewhere this file is missing and you have to get that file from somewhere. No need to find anywhere. You are following a structured approach, right? And there is one another folder called as calculator pack. Now what is that calculator pack called as? This is nothing but called as your package. So there is module, there is a package. Inside a package, we have modules. These are the modules that we defined, right? And it's pretty much the same code. Addition will do addition, multiplication will do multiplication. No changes here. A small little change where in the code of calculator, because this time you need to give additional information to Python, that where is your add file. Now this time it will change. Instead from package, instead as in earlier, our earlier calculator file, it was in from calculator, right? Because all were in same folder. Now you need to tell them that it's in different folder, so you need to mention the name of the package. So from package called as calculator package in the sense, for this folder I'm calling it that it is a package. What is a package? Bundle, right? Normal English यार. पैकेज में क्या होता है, दो चार चीजों का बंडल मिला के एक पैकेज बनाते हैं, राइट? सो दैट्स हाउ, दो तीन मॉड्यूल्स या फिर 100 मॉड्यूल्स का बंडल बना के एक पैकेज बना दो. So you have, what you have done, from package import. What is this? This is what? Your module add. This is what? Your module merl. All right. And from that module, what do you need? Your names are also same. Means from that add module, what do you need? You need add method. From that add module, you need add method. From the merl module, you need merl function, right? So how will you get that? Go to the calculator file and just mention it. From add, I need add. So add.add, again the same thing. And this time, what I am doing, I am going to the package folder and I will run this calculator file. So this one was done for simple explanation of module. I am going one level ahead and explaining you the package. That's the reason I will be now moving to the package folder. So just double click on it, just take this path, go to the package folder, all right, go to the command prompt. From here, just change cd, okay, the package folder. Okay, what was the name? Package, is it? No, I copied the path, right? So just it did not get copied or what? Let me copy. Yeah, so this is the path on the desktop. Package folder is there. In that, now I am in the package folder, and from here I will run what? Python. This file was different. It was in sample module. This file I'm talking is what we just organized in more better way. All right. So package is a way to organize all your files, modules, whatever you have defined. All right. Python, and then what is the file name? Calculator. So it's pretty much the same command. See, you are still getting the output, but this time we are more organized. And that's all for our today's discussion. So what we covered today, In the first place, did you understand these concepts of package, module, and uh, package, module, and what? Functions. So functions inside a package, functions inside a module. Inside a module, there is a package. So Diane, library is more broader term. You can say there may be multiple packages in a library. Okay, it's much broader term. That's just a hierarchy. Some people also use this term interchangeably. Okay, some will call, okay, I downloaded the package, some will call it library, but however, library is a broader term. In that there will be a package, in that there will be a module, in module there will be functions. Yes, any other questions, guys? Because we are done with our today's discussion. Where we started with our yesterday's that 5%. I would not say confusion. 5% clarity we needed on pass and continue. We just executed those code and we saw we were very pretty much clear, because the example that I took yesterday might be on a tougher side for you to understand. I included else unnecessary. However, there will be situations where that kind of implementations are required. That's the reason I took that. Then functions, functions definition. We saw what is functions. We saw what is the syntax of functions, how to write functions. We saw what is parameter. We saw what is an argument. When you give a value to a parameter, it becomes an argument. We saw what is return type. So that is the data type of a particular return value. Then what we did is we already wrote code for even and odd yesterday. We just wrote the same code. This time what we did, we used function, so that if any one of you writes that code and you are working in a project, and your other fellow team member doesn't need to write the code to check even and odd, he will write to check prime or not prime or something of that sort. So you have done a job for him, and that is how teamwork is done in companies. Code, different modules will be developed by different developers, and finally they will merge it somewhere. Then we saw different arguments, different types of arguments, that is default argument, keyword argument, positional argument, and arbitrary argument. I said that arguments can be variable length, and that is something called as arbitrary arguments. And I also told you that what is the difference between positional and keyword arguments. How keyword arguments supersede the position, and how default arguments work. If you don't specify, see, if you don't specify here any value, a is equal to 1 or b is equal to, see what is going to happen. It throws me an error because it is expecting some value over there. To avoid this error, I simply feel safe to mention default value, so that unnecessary my program doesn't stop, and my, whatever you say, the other calculations that are to be made doesn't get hampered. Okay, so these are the way outs. Important part, very important part, very day-to-day or real-time example I took. I try to I mean, try to relate it with our day-to-day life. Example for your understanding. I hope you got it. I said that scope of variable, your global area variable is your belongings that are public, that belong to your society. All right. If you are staying in a multi-story apartment, if um, it is your own belonging that belong to your flat, your own property, your own guitar, your own bat, whatever it is. All right. So that is what, that is local variable. You, if you have your own bat, you are preferring your own bat. If you don't, you may well access the society's bat. Seems funny, like I'm taking you to cricket bat and all. However, to understand the concepts, I'm just trying to relate, so that I'm giving such kind of examples so that you don't forget. And then we also talked about the global variable. I took your names purposely because I want you to remember this session, that okay, I had mentioned some names and I gave these examples, so that I want you to remember the concept. You will, when you implement, you will understand, that is not a problem. But how this works is that if someone changes something in the society which is not really benefiting any of the member, and like I mentioned, mistakenly switching off some gym access or something, and it is hampering, the guy doesn't know he did a mistake, however the mistake happened. So some practices are not really recommended, like defining a global variable from a function. Okay, not a recommended practice. However, in some cases, for exceptions, for tackling some issues, might be for timing a particular senior developer has implemented it, but maybe he will remove it later. Then what he did was he did the change. However, it doesn't mean that you don't define global variable. Global variable has to be defined because it will be used in multiple functions. All right. And then we saw what is math module. Inside math there are different functions, not really possible to cover all of those. And then we saw a random module as well, how to import random module, how to import it with this dot, and how to import it directly with a from keyword, and then using import for whatever items, maybe it a function, maybe it a variable. Then we moved ahead and we saw the examples, we saw how to generate lottery numbers. All right. And that was all. Then moving further, I for to explain you the meaning, or you can to give you the essence how you write one functions and you can use in multiple codes. All right. Anyone who has access to that folder and he keeps his file in that folder will be able to access. Then I separated out one point, that is the file that you run from, your main file, that we saw it as a calculator in our example. Your main file, I kept it separate for a much organized way, so that you are well aware that okay, all my modules, all my functions belong in this one folder, and if I have to look at that, it is there, and my file is outside that folder or somewhere else if you want to store it, but I kept it as a separate one, and if I just need to run only that file. That's all for today's discussion. Fine, Fahad, Diane, Peter. As much you are thankful to me, I am also thankful to you for listening to me, and even I enjoy sharing knowledge with you. So it's a two-way communication. It's that I am also gaining. I am also like getting a few questions from you that I haven't heard. So it's always two ways. So even I am happy to share knowledge with you. So no worries, guys. So any questions before we wind up? Any questions, guys? Okay. So I had a nice 3 days. We look for even learning more concepts in last two sessions, upcoming sessions, and I'll see you tomorrow. For today, we will take a leave. Thank you very much for attending this one. Have a nice day to you all. Bye.